But we're underway now. We fixing to tear it up, son. Alright, everybody, welcome back to another Friday Night Magic tournament from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. My name, as always, is Zachary Evans, and we're already underway with our Round 1 feature match. Got 4 rounds tonight, 21 players battling standard here at the store. And our Round 1 feature match features 2 well-known players. On the left, it's Alec Myers, Star City Games Columbus top 8 participant. He's on the board early with a Elvish Mystic into a Scavenging Ooze with his red-green devotion deck. And his opponent is Brandon Hart, who is on a green-black devotion deck. Not sure if it's necessarily mono-black devotion splashing for green, though it looks like in this case it's a mono-green devotion deck splashing black. I can only imagine for Abrupt Decays and Veraska at the high end. So Alec playing a simple plenty there. He might have audible to his Naya Planeswalkers deck, which is a ton of fun. So we'll have to see, as I did not check with him up front. There's the Temple Garden, so we're clearly on Naya. Naya mid-range, Naya aggro, maybe? Let's call it Naya aggro. Naya aggro for now, but regardless, let's recap the situation. Alec getting in there with a Mystic, or with a Scavenging Ooze, using his Mystic to power out a turn 3 Gorklan Rampager cast the hard way. His opponent has a Voyaging Satyr to go along with 3 lands and a Pelucranos. Brandon now surveying his hand, figuring out his line of attack here. So Brandon serves in with Pelucranos, follows it up with a main deck. Is that Nylea's Emissary? So gaining some life back up to 21. That's actually not a bad decision to main deck that card in this room. Not only does it add to your devotion, but it's a lot of red cards in the room today. As we see Alec add to his board with an Ajani Steadfast. He's going to +1, targeting his Rampager. Get in there. So Alec gaining 5 life and attacking with a Vigilant Gorklan Rampager. Thanks to Ajani, going back up to 16. Knotting things up here. Brandon starts off his turn with the Scry off Temple of Malady. Give himself the most information possible before deciding what to do here, and just passes back. So interesting here, Brandon does not have a 4th untapped land that would have allowed him to fight the Scavenging Ooze before it can get bigger, as there are no creatures in the graveyard currently. So Alec ticking up his Najani again, targeting the Gorklan Rampager, making it a 5/5 with about 1 billion keywords. First strike, vigilance, and lifelink. Brandon figuring out what he wants to do here. This would be a good spot for a Hero's Downfall, if he is playing those in his deck. Abrupt Decay will not be good enough here. And Brandon just lets it through. Obviously the Rampager tramples naturally, so blocking not necessarily of a ton of value. Then Alec continues to add to his board with a Pelucranos of his own and another Elvish Mystic. It's interesting there. Brandon taking a point of damage. I don't really know why he did as we end of turn cord here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Was no reason to take a point of damage there, because you can get 3 green from. You get another green from one of the creatures he taps. So we'll see if that comes back to bite him. But he is going to cord for 3 and get a Courser of Crufix. I'm going to do a whole lot of work on this board, but we'll help him gain some life incidentally. Maybe burn through some dead cards on the top of his deck. Trying to come back here. Needs to find an answer to that Ajani. So the card he drew for turn could not make it out. There's a Burning Tree Emissary on top. So what can we do here? We have 5 mana, so we can go monstrous on Pelucranos, make it a 7/7, likely taking care of that Scavenging Ooze. Then conserve in, at which point Alec can choose to double block and trade off either his Pelucranos or Gorkling Rampager. He could just take it at this point, as he is at 21 life, thanks to the lifelink granted his creatures by the Ajani. Brandon also can choose to go after the Ajani itself. So it looks like we're casting a 3-drop or Monstrous Thing for 1 here. Pump Fake, Brandon thinking about it again. So tap 2 mana for a Sylvan Caryatid. Not sure how much of an impact it's going to make on this current board state. But Brandon using his mana as he can. Staring down a board state that would otherwise be somewhat of a stalemate here. But the Ajani ticking up. And Brandon's deck not incredibly well equipped to fight it as is. So Alec tapping 6 mana, then untapping quickly. Not sure if that's a Rurik Thar, or if we have a cord for 3. So Alec for 5 is a dragon. He can't decide what he wants to do here. There is a Storm Breath Dragon. So 4/4 Hasty Flyer to go along with the 5/5 and 4/4 on the ground. Scavenging Ooze waiting to clean up once trades start happening. We -2 our Ajani. Puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature Alec controls, as well as any other planeswalkers, should he have any. Which he does not, but he does generate a pretty impressive 6 additional power here. And then just swings for the fences. 5/5 Dragon, 6/6 Pelucranos, 5/5 Trampling Gorkling Rampager. He even has 2/2 Mystics and a 3/3 Ooze in the back. So Brandon lines up a trade with his Pelucranos on the Gorkling and a triple block on the Pelucranos. And there is a Golgari Charm, regenerating his creatures. So Golgari Charm, doing a lot of work in the top 8 of the Pro Tour last weekend. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, go back and watch the Ichikawa Cunningham quarterfinal. Doing a lot of work here, as it effectively kills both a Pelucranos and a Gorkling Rampager. But Brandon not out of the woods yet. He's dead on board to that Storm Breath Dragon. As he drops down to 4. Alec at 21 life. More importantly, with a significant ground force of creatures, going to be hard for Brandon to pile in for the win here. In his hand, we see a Burning Tree Emissary. Is that a Hornet Queen? In a Chord of Calling. Chord here is good for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 if you wanted to. So you could chord for 8. So you can get everything in his deck if you wanted to. Chord for 7 and still leave a creature untapped, but he has to find an answer to that Stormbreath Dragon. If that is the Hornet Queen in his hand, it's very likely that he does not have that silver bullet to go get. That will be the answer here if he does have it. So we'll see what his response is. Chord of Calling, bringing free spells back into Magic. So even if Brandon had a plan there, he can't beat the second Stormbreath Dragon. And Alec and his Naya aggro deck take game 1.
No, I'm on the way. I'm busy. I'll be back. Alright. Alright, dear. Alright. Let me let you go. Love her to death. Good Lord.
Alright.
Yeah, my wife handed me one of these earlier. She's like, I was like, okay, now where's the money? What's this?
It looks like Monopoly money. It does.
I'm like, no, it's not. He says, yes, we've been broke that long. I'm like, what? Yeah, that's funny.
It doesn't look like real currency.
It doesn't. Oh.
Alright, so game 2 underway here. Alec winning the first one off the back of the Johnny Steadfast. Brandon trying to break even here on the play with an Elvish Mystic into a turn 2 Courser of Crofix, just like he dialed it up to Alec's Mana Accelerants of Elvish Mystic and Sylvan Caryatid. A lot of gesturing and pointing at cards now. Oh, thanks. I assume I don't know why I assumed you needed that.
My original list, they had one.
Yeah, I think I may have had some in my deck when I used to play that build. So
Shadow's just good anyway.
Yes.
Kind of helps.
So Brandon just passes the turn back. Alec with a turn 3 Pelucranos. I'd be curious to see what kind of black cards Brandon has access to in his sideboard, whether or not he can sideboard. I assume he'd be able to sideboard in some number of Doom Blades and whatnot. So there is a Nykthos, there's a Voyaging Satyr on top, so we've assembled the combo as of next turn. There's a Burning Tree Emissary, floating the 2 mana. Activate Nykthos for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 with the Cave. There's a Garrick. So we're going to tick Garrick up. Draw at least the Voyaging Satyr, and we'll see what the other 4 cards are. Satyr. Ultimate Prize. Garrick and Genesis Hydra. So pretty spicy 5-card reveal there. Unfortunately, Brandon only gets to draw the 2, but the Hydra's going to be pretty big at this point. Pelucranos, we can fight here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 2. So we can kill the Burning Tree Emissary, which is probably important just to keep the devotion count down. But even then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Hydra for 4, Hydra for 5 if we play a land. Still pretty good at this point, as just casting a 5/5 is often good enough. So there's a chain to the rocks. That's one of the advantages of this mana base. And an ultimate price taking out the Courser, so just like that, Pelucranos is going to finish off the Garrick. And just like that, Alec is back in this one. Even getting in for 1 damage with his Elvish Mystic. So we'll see what Brandon can do to rebuild here. His Hydra is much lower at this point, or much smaller potentially at this point. We know he shoved another Garrick to the bottom of his deck, along with 2 removal spells that he would otherwise hope to have in hand to deal with that Pelucranos. And his devotion count is now to a point where he needs 3 pips just to turn a profit. So 4 mana for a Pelucranos of our own, maybe. Tapping that Mystic. Hydra for 2. Interesting. Oh, that's pretty good. Hydra for 2. Hitting the Burning Tree exactly. So Brandon floating a green and a red off of that. Has access to black from his Llanowar Wastes. And promptly does nothing with it. So just passing back. Facing down Alec, who's stuck on lands here, but still has 5 mana thanks to his mana dorks. Going to fight the Elvish Mystic. Serve in with the 6-6. I think Brandon probably just going to take it at this point. So much so that I'm already going to update his life total. So the good news about this Genesis Hydra is because it shuffles back in, we're at least drawing live now to our ultimate prices and Garrick again. And a Mizium Mortar is going to finish off the Genesis Hydra. So Brandon down to a Lonely Burning Tree Emissary. So there's a Voyaging Satyr that we knew about off of the Garrick from several turns ago and just passes the turn back. There's a Stormbreath Dragon. Serving with it and the 6-6 Pelucranos. Ultimate Price going to take care of the dragon. What are we going to do with the Pelucranos? Are we going to take 6 or are we going to chump with the Satyr? I feel like the only way we win this game is if we have a very explosive turn. And I think at this point we probably can't afford to get rid of the Satyr. 6 life is much different than 4. And as soon as I say that, nope, he's thought better of it. I'm not sure there is a way to win this game, but the way we do win this game, I think, involves generating a lot of mana. So Brandon digging for a removal spell for that Pelucranos. Alec really hasn't had much going on this game. He's drawn a lot of reactive cards, but Brandon's also had a very proactive draw, so it's kind of worked out well for him. Pelucranos and Stormbreath, good enough. As the Warhammer guys talk about jetpacks. So Brandon deciding what he wants to do here. Cannot see the cards in his hand. One is a Golgari Charm. That is basically useless at this point. It will allow him to jump and regenerate with his Voyaging Satyr should he choose to. Cannot see the other 2 cards, and he just passes back. We might have a cord here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so a cord for 4. Serving in with the Pelucranos. I think we're going to see a block and regen. And there is the Golgari Charm. Likely choosing regenerate all of my creatures. So fogging that Pelucranos attack for a turn. Pelucranos, a card that feels like it has trample, but it does not. We do in fact tap the Burning Tree, which is relevant for cord math. And there's a post-combat Ajani, which is very interesting. Right into the one spot in the... Oh no, it's an Elspeth, I'm sorry. Played right into the one spot where we wouldn't be able to see it. So now Brandon is way up against it. Facing down a must-answer 6-6, and now an endless stream of 1/1s, and he's just cashed in his one-sided Wrath effect. There's another Burning Tree. It's for free. Now we can profit 2 mana off of our Nykthos, so we should have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got a 5 again, up to 10. 10 mana. Not sure that works the way that he wants it to, because you can't get green and black like that. He has the mana to do it, he just has to tap his Voyaging Satyr. I don't think I'm making that up. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing. So Alex showing him double Mizium Mortars. That's going to be good enough to clear a path